how to choose the right automation framework for my project. So that's one of the questions I got it from one of the viewers. The idea, you have to understand first what we're talking about as a framework. So in some of the online scenarios, you might see when they are comparing automation framework, they compare Selenium with APM, APM with request library. So you have to understand that. So it's a different story that when you are choosing between uh, Selenium versus APM, it's two different frameworks using or used for two different expectations. Selenium mostly focusing on web application automation, APM mostly focusing on mobile application automation. You shouldn't be confusing or you shouldn't be comparing these two. In most of our cases, in most of the uh, popular or most of the modern product software, what you need is you need both of them. You need Selenium and APM at the same time so that you can automate your web test as well as mobile test. So in general, so you will be having at least four categories: database, API, mobile, web. So this is your mostly most of the modern products using these four sections of products. In addition, there may be some cases you might want to test Windows application, MacBook applications, Linux applications. It's called executable binaries in your local machine. So these are all the systems you need to automate or systems you need to test. Whatever you need to test, you're going to automate. That's a common scenario, right? So when you compare frameworks, what you have to compare is something specific for each section. For API testing, should I use Jest or like request library or some other asynchronous IO library? So there will be different kinds of libraries, also different kind of programming languages. My recommendation is this: choose one programming language first. Make sure that programming language have library for each of your sections. Imagine you only need to check API and mobile. You don't have a big web application. You only need to your major um, your consumer product is a mobile application and most of them used via uh, an API. All you need is an API testing framework and a mobile testing framework. In that situation, you need a programming language with choosing the right library for mobile and API. In some cases, you wanted to add web, some cases, you wanted to add something else. So, why I'm suggesting for first choose the programming language? So, that is what defining your team structure, who you are going to hire, what kind of knowledge you wanted to hire. Like the current scenarios, they might be you might be seeing like we want web automation testers with karate framework, or we want someone with playwright experience, we want someone with karate experience, we want someone with cucumber experience. These are all comes from the fact that you are locked into a specific tool or a library. You shouldn't be. You can be locked into one programming language. Also, when you do, like, okay, I wanted to do cucumber and I wanted to do it in JavaScript, and your entire system or your entire development team is working on, let's say, AI based tools, and they will be using Python more, or they are using backend API based systems more, and they are mostly developing everything in Java and Kotlin. Then you choose JavaScript Cucumber for your automation framework. That will become a burden for the developers to understand what you are testing. That will expect lot of conversions from your code to a text model, a text to code model. That will create a lot of confusions. So first choose a programming language that will be understandable by all members of the team, like including the developers, so that they can suggest, they can easily read the code, whatever it is, right? So yeah, of course, as a developer, as a tester, you know all these technologies same way a developer might know all programming languages, or they can able to read and understand any programming language code what you provide. But if you are using some programming language which is closer to the software what they are building, in the same language what they are building, that would be make it much easier, especially in some cases you wanted to take some samples from their side and you wanted to use it. In that situations, if you have the same language, it's easy to connect and easy to make it into, pull from one repository to another, one service to another, and stuff like that. So First, you have to choose what is the good programming language for you. Imagine you have web application in React Native, I mean React, and then you have mobile application in React Native. Most of them were in TypeScript and JavaScript. So your choice is very clear. You wanted to have a JavaScript based framework. And to make it type safe, you make it into TypeScript based framework. That is one idea. So this could be Python, this could be Java, this could be Scala. It doesn't matter which programming language, but you choose one programming language for the companies, based on the company's expectation, or based on the company's most popular programming language, if you may. Then you choose one library for each section. For API, what I wanted to do. Maybe you might try to do the same thing as unit test. That is very closer. That will make it, the shift left testing makes a lot of sense if you choose the same programming, same library as the unit test are written, and then you write end-to-end test on top of it. That will make it more closer. So you might use just library for API request, and then you wanted to use obviously the end-to-end. Let's say the developers are using Cypress to write their unit test. If you use the same Cypress in the TypeScript, what you choose, so that's how you choose what programming language, what library. So within the library you choose what you need. Like, you might want to do APM, but that you need to write a lot of wrappers. You might choose Selenium, you might need to write a lot of wrappers. If you choose Playwright, there is not much wrappers needed, because a lot of the things are coming up in this situation in Playwright, especially in JavaScript or TypeScript support. It comes with a lot of inbuilt options for loading times and stuff like that. It's automatically maintained. So the Playwright may be a good choice, just maybe a good choice for API, and then you choose one for mobile. So mobile, 80-90% of the time you would be only hearing about APM, but that is not true. There is many other mobile application libraries available. For example, Metro, Astro, and we might be talking about each tools in the forthcoming calls, but there will be multiple libraries available for mobile testing. You choose one, so you get API, mobile, and web. And on top of it, the database thing is pretty much all programming languages have a library for connecting to database, which is very obvious. So once you get into that, and then you think about what are the logging systems you need to look into. Maybe you wanted to send your logs to let's say Grafana, or what is that, Elasticsearch, Grafana, that level of ecosystem. Or you might want to send it to PagerDuty, Sentry, that kind of ecosystem. Or you might want to send it to something like GCP logs or AWS logs or something like that. So based on that, you need to choose a library to use your logger. So what is the major issue the long timers in test automation misunderstood, or what they are making a mistake in big companies, is pretty much everyone is choosing, okay, let's go with Java Selenium for web application, and then for mobile we choose completely a new repository for Java mobile. My recommendation would be, choose the same thing for all of them. Try to bring everything into single umbrella, single repository situation until it becomes too big. I mean, you might have 50 testers, then you might want to split that into multiple pieces. But if you only have 5 or 10, less than 5, less than 10, it makes a lot of sense to have all of them in a single repository, having different sections for all of these situations, and then structureize it. We will discuss about a good automation structure in the forthcoming calls. See you soon.